Consent, right? Okay, we're good. Bye, everyone.
Hi, Jersey.
Hi, Jersey.
Day one.
There you are.
Day one. Hello.
Hello. Thank you.
What do you have over there? It's your daughter?
My daughter, yes. Yeah.
Hey,
She's my Zoom expert.
how old is she?
How old? She's 18.
Ah, that's a lot of easier, right? With 18 than 15. Are you have a
Yes, for sure. Yes.
All right. Well, welcome. It will be a intense and fantastic week we'll spend together, and we'll spend this time constructively. Means we'll be challenged, we'll be educated, and we'll create possibility for ourselves to evolve. I like the evolve. If there are people there in that with yesterday, we talk about survival, and I survived something, which is really the word that I didn't like to even say that I survived something. So I like evolve. We evolve. It has some growth and inspiration and process and progress, and it's a good word. We can use it before we go to a different one.
I'm glad you chose that one, Jersey. I was thinking about it, and evolution. It links to Darwinism and survival of the fittest. And I think if you do a happy body, you get fitter and you stronger and survive and evolve. It's a good word.
Yeah, evolve is a good word. Somehow, when you survive it, you don't do things. You survive. So it doesn't involve. It's something happened to you and you survived. That's like you got the illness and you survived, but you really didn't do anything in order to come out of it. Yeah. So evolve is something that you do something to come out of it, and that's why I like more evolve, because I am a little more active in it and not passive, like in a survival.
And so, survival has kind of a negative feel to it, and evolve has more of a happy forward feel.
Right. It is building process, right? It is something that a goodness that will happen because of it. So that's why I like it. So yeah. we don't have many of you, so maybe we'll just introduce ourselves and have some words before I go and give you my my injections of wisdom. Came up with a different one. All right, so who will start? I have tea and a bar, so many of you probably know the whole idea of a bar and a tea as a snack. So this is my snack.
I'm Margaret from Ireland. Glad to be here, Jersey. Thank you.
Hey, how are you, Barbara?
I'm good. I'm good, thanks.
Awesome. So would you like to say something?
I find that very interesting, the use of the word evolve rather than survive. It indicates more of an active response rather than a passive response to life circumstance, and that you're changing, you're learning and adapting and changing.
Awesome, thank you.
Good.
I'm Dick Taylor from Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada. I've been involved now, this third week, Jersey?
Right.
3? Yeah. Yep. And been with many of you along this journey, and I just can't say enough about it. a life changer, as I said to Jersey earlier. So welcome and thanks, everyone. Glad to be back.
Thank you.
I can go. I'm Karen, and I live in California in Portola Valley. That's my backyard in back of me, but it's not like that today. It's a little grayer. But I'm coming back from having been away from the Happy Body for a few years while I was recovering from some things. And I'm really excited to be back to this. And I love having the support of all of you along the way. And Jersey, I'm so excited that you're doing this. This is a really wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you.
I'm Jan from Germany, and similar to Karen, I'm super happy for you, Jersey, that you do this. When you first started the first Into the Cave, I was like, okay, cool, a 1 week course, but that this turned into a daily thing is pretty great. Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks.
Hi, my name's Mark from Stowe Springs, New York. Again, like Karen, I was away from the Happy Body for a couple of years with some challenges that I'm now have been resolved. And yeah, I'm so grateful. What a wonderful opportunity to be able to be one-on-one with you, Jersey, and have the, get back into the Happy Body way of exercising and living. I live it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, no.
Okay, sorry, Chris. Hi, Sanjam. I am from St. Louis, Missouri. I was born and raised in India, but I've lived in the US for almost a decade now, over a decade. I picked up the Happy Body about 3 years ago for some chronic I was having. I couldn't really do the gym and all of the jazz. I kind of let it go. And then when I saw the email from Jersey, I was intrigued and curious. And I've been dealing with the chronic pain for a few years now, on and off. And even though I came to this with looking for a more sustainable solution for that, I think this is much more than something for my body. It's for all of me, and I'm excited to be here with all of you, and very grateful, Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, for all of me. I really like that. That saying, for all of me.
I feel it. I truly do. I think it's much more than something to address just pain or our flexibility. Because in dealing with the chronic pain, I realized it was a manifestation of different stresses, of course, my posture and all the physical stresses, but everything else that goes on in your life shows up somewhere in your body. And I feel like this is a great tool to kind of strengthen everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For all of me. I really like that. Okay. Thank you.
Chris from Minneapolis, and what would I say? I discovered the Happy Body by accident. I still to this day can't tell you how I found it. But in finding it and reading some of the reviews about it, it spoke to me both as a physical and a mental side. That's usually what I'm looking for a lot of times when I've done stuff. I tried to do the CrossFit. I wrecked my shoulders in the CrossFit, but the one thing that was missing in the CrossFit was the mental. When I asked the guy about getting prepared to come into the gym and actually do the motions and the exercises, it was more of a, you just do it. And it worked for me. And so I ended up hurting my shoulders, going back, and I was too far. I didn't have the flexibility, and couple of shots of cortisone and about 6 to 8 months of recovery. And the way that it did the recovery is through micro progressions, build the smaller muscles and some of the stuff. And that's kind of how I got into the Happy Body. But what I did discover is I went at the Happy Body with my old gym mentality of you do the rows, and I was doing it all wrong. That's why I said when having down, laying down, I do the whole lower back and then try to do the snake, and I've been doing everything all wrong. So this has been really helpful to slow me down, do it right, and then finding that 30 to 45 minutes in a day to actually just relax and go, this is what you're going to do. And this is your get away from the world, shut everything down, and just, like you talked about being in the moment or being mindful. That's been pretty helpful. So I could ramble all day long about it. My wife about listening to me as I try to explain it to her.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
better to go to the gym and do the 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Well, the talk is important because the talk's supposed to take us to the gym. And if we have times in life that is really hard to go to the gym, that we really need those talks. And, you know, I saw through my mentoring people 20 years that people really need the talk. And that's this talk, not only the talk, but it has to be constructive talk, challenging talk, kind of talk that can make you feel, can make you think, can make you, you know, like work on your own insights and change within and build that that all of you, right, that can take you to the gym, because sometimes it's really hard to go to the gym. Simply, it's really hard, right? It's not just do it, because just do it doesn't work. It's only work, you know, with people that they are ready for it, right? Just do it works, okay? Okay, just do it, right? So, you know, it will work with people that don't need any kind of support when it comes to feeling pain, feeling lonely, feeling depressed, feeling weak. All these people will not really respond to just do it. They are not really ready to just do it. They need a lot of development in their mind to come to that point of doing it, because you have to build that strength, which I covered in the walk the talk, that strength that will help you to actually do it. But it is strength of all of you. Yeah, the strength that comes from poetry, that comes from philosophy, that comes through knowledge, and comes from, you know, developing this mindfulness and elasticity of the brain to accept what is the hard choice. It comes from so many things, so many areas of life. And this course is for that, is creating this strength within us that eventually will help us to just do it, right? So, yeah, but we need a year or two before we just do it, right? But when we are already just do it, then we don't need just do it, because we do it, right? So we don't need any just do it at all. So it's a fundamental concept that that only works with anxiety. Just do it works with anxiety, kind of excite people and just do it and we go. But everybody is ready, right? So it is all excitement and also anxiety, and not really creating ability for people to gain strength and go and do what seems to at that time really hard to do. No matter, you know, what is it? Sometimes it's just hard to come out of the house and go for a 5 minutes walk. It's really hard. So that's what I wrote. You have to really look into that this course is not really fun. It's not entertainment. This is really digging into our, whatever we are, from existentialism point of view, to dig in and help ourselves to get better. And that's what is it. And because of that, we will be challenged. But the challenge is good. We need to become better, and becoming better is hard. It's a hard choice, always hard choice. So thank you for just do it. Let's go to the next one.
Everybody, I've been pretty vocal for those who've been in this program before. I'm Amy, so some of you kind of know my vibe. And for those who are new to the program, I met Jerzy a long time ago, and he helped me get rid of very deep chronic pain that was also causing emotional pain because I wasn't being believed by medical professionals. And it all became one big knot to untangle. And so Jerzy helped me slowly focus on tiny weights, tiny steps to redirect me to a place of positivity and healing. And then I became strong and supple and flexible. And so I remember being happier and feeling the most confident in my body after being a happy body practitioner for many years. And then I turned away from it. And so now I'm back. And for me, 3 weeks ago, walking out of the house for a 5-minute walk seemed impossible. It seemed just too much effort, and why even bother, let alone doing what I knew was going to make me feel better. And now, 3 weeks later, I am resuming that feeling I had in my 20s and early 30s of a very open, strong, confident, supple body that's also doing the same thing for my mind and my spirit with this daily visit with all of you in Jersey. And I'm taking this very humbly. I'm forgetting that I ever learned it before. And I'm approaching this as though I'm opening up a book again and learning what it has to offer this time. And so there are different layers of the onion that are being peeled back. I have a different body, I have a different spirit, and I'm learning it fresh again. And it's great. I think I'm going to be even more relaxed and strong than I was the first time.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, that to be a beginner is a really a great thing. Sometimes when we learn some things, and learning is really hard if you want to you kind of do something what you did in the past and include into the learning. So it is better like to be somebody that doesn't know anything and starts completely from scratch, because it's always like whenever you begin something, it's always contemporary, it's always new, it's always fresh. That's why I never prepare for this session, because if I do, then I will bring here yesterday. So I don't want to bring yesterday to you guys. This is me today. So it's a daily thing, and on daily, that's how we go. I kind of knew how to go, but yeah, I'm already going different ways with this session. The plan is not there anymore. It goes away, and then we have a conversation, and we go into the areas that matters the most at that time. And that's how I always coach my clients. We always went somewhere, and I've never had a pre-structured, thing that I wanted to just a little bit, but not. And it's always worked, because in this way, it's like in poetry, you start going somewhere and you forget about the world, and suddenly you can go to the pain and to the weakness, and you can bring it forward. You can talk about this, and you can cry, you can sob, and that situation can be created. And without that, then we will only have just do it, right? That would be it, right? Why to go with hours and years of practice that would help a person to come out of the house for 5 minutes? But what if that's what is needed? So that's what I saw with my clients. Some of them, they needed 2 weeks to embrace the new thing and go that way. Others, they needed 5 years. So there's no such thing as projections of time when it comes to our mind and development of the virtues. There's no such thing. It is in the physical world. It is. If we want to lose weight, we can have transparency because it's energy. We can calculate, okay, we need 25 weeks to lose 37 pounds. Okay, we're going to do this and that, and it works. It works like a clock, but it works only where the energy can be calculated. But when it comes to building strength, for example, building flexibility, it doesn't work because there are so many things can happen that you will have to go back, reevaluate, and restart, and go back, reevaluate, and you have to be okay with it. You have to be, develop this gracefulness. That we will be talking about the happy body. How many people go back and forth with the happy body? They stop and come back to it. But whenever they come back, they say one thing over and over: I never felt better than when I was on the happy body. I didn't find anything better. That's it. That's why they come, because they come for the feeling. I was at so many readings of poets, and I have the feeling of every reading in me. But if you ask me what was the poetry about, I don't remember. But if you ask me about Ralph Angel and his readings, then I have a feeling, right? I have a feeling. And, every poet that, I engage, I have a feeling. So that feeling is important, because that's the feeling that matters a lot. When you are, taking from this session is a feeling too.
Well, I think what I'm learning is that when I'm in the happy body experience and I'm living my life to these principles, I am actually who I really want to be. When I'm not in the happy body lifestyle, it is not who I really am. And there's all this cognitive dissonance. And so I'm really only feel 100% me when I'm doing it.
And that's why it's so crucial, right, to do it on a daily basis. It's very crucial, very important. And if we don't do it on a daily basis, so we need to keep working on it until we do. And it doesn't matter how many years it takes. You're just on a journey, as I said, on the journey toward becoming a better human being, and during this time on this planet. So that's it. So it really doesn't matter. So that's why you have to get rid of the expectations. You can have a plan.
Well, that's when that idea clicked for me. In my 20s, it was about, I want my body to look a certain way. Now it's, I want to be the real me. And the way to achieve that is just to express that every day through this type of movement and eating and thinking.
Right.
Then there is no result other than every day I get the result. Right. It's not in the future. It's right now. And it's tripping me out.
Well, you are getting the present moment, right? The present moment, you can miss this, the present moment very easily. I want to be present moment with you too. I don't want to be, lecturing you, right? I don't want. I want to be in the present moment with you. I want to grow up too. I want to evolve, and you do too. And we are not going to evolve if I am not in the present moment. So that's why I figured out with every client, like about 15 years ago, when I had like preconcept how to teach and what to say and so on. It was weird and stressed me like hell, It was not a good life. So, and it didn't produce really a good result that, would produce a person that would, fire from within, right? So I understand one thing. I have to be on a journey. I have my tea, my bar, and then we have to be in the present moment. Then, something magical happened because I could be like this for 10 hours with, every hour with a different client. And I never get tired. I never get exhausted. Just like, never. It's just like, wow, this is what it means to be in the zone, right? This is what it means nirvana, you are in the present moment. That's it. That's all there is. If you can be in the present moment, wow, you got your life. And you, in that, present moment, you will do certain things that will build different future. And it can be only built in that present moment.
Well, Jersey, if I can be a little revealing to everybody, you have changed as a trainer, coach, mentor since I have known you and worked with you and met you, and you have evolved. So by being who you really are in the present moment, you were led to this place where you can help everybody else be a mentor to themselves. If you had stuck with the training and the type of training and the words you were saying before, which were a little different than the words you're saying now, you've learned, we wouldn't be here.
No, you wouldn't be here.
You would have created a different future.
Yes, of course. If I didn't accept and surrender to what is good, I wouldn't talk to you today, right? If I didn't drop my ego during the process of helping my clients, I would never be here. So this gracefulness of helping human being to evolve and to find her own pathway, it's beautiful. It's amazing. And I can't wait. I developed this patience, like in weightlifting. We have paralleled this in weightlifting because in weightlifting, when you're a coach, you can coach for 5-10 years and you can wait for this athlete to come out. And it's coming out, but you have to wait. You cannot really force that one to become, because if you do that, then the force becoming, and it's becoming something ugly and not really nice. So the athlete that becomes with the patience, with kindness of the coach, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, I wanted everybody to know you weren't just born this smart.
No.
And that all of us are capable of this. You're not just some supernatural human being. It's been daily practice of curiosity and transparency and consistency and questioning and trying. This didn't just happen overnight for you, and it's not going to happen overnight for us.
That's why we do the way that we do, right? That's why I said to myself, okay, we have to do it daily. And we have to keep doing this until we die. And that's it, because that's how we live life. So, and that's how it's going to be. It has to be daily, and that's it. It's like we're on a big journey. I have a big journey with every client of mine, and these journeys, at least 2 years almost with everyone. And 2 years to 20 years, right? These are the journeys that I have. So I was just thinking constantly, I was just thinking about this stranger in the world or up there, right? That is the happy body, that I don't have a connection to that at all. So, and that bothered me for many, many, many years. That stranger in the world, right? That people were asking, have you helped that one somewhere there, right? So I tried the web page, I tried to subscription, tried to retreats and so on. And nothing really worked really because it's not consistent. This is not really something that would be at least consistent on a weekly basis. And so I thought, okay, so the only way to deal with it, if I open something that I can see people on a daily basis and that they can get it as much as they can, right? And then we talk about almost anything, whatever it is, whatever is important at the time. So the challenge, of course, is how to talk to you guys, that they are hundreds of you. And that is my huge challenge from the beginning. How to find my voice, how to find, how to be pleasant and good with you. So, and, still that you feel goodness flowing everywhere. And that is a really a big challenge. So you are getting these injections because you are in so different places in the mind and in the growth of that mind. Like, when I have one client, then I have that client, right, a certain way. But you are so many clients, so many minds, and create such a daily thing with the strangers in the world. It gives me so much good energy, and then it puts me on in a really good mood, the good feeling. I have a really good feeling, so I like it. Yeah, we are going somewhere with it. I really don't know yet where, but we are going somewhere with it. Awesome, thank you, Amy.
My name is Janice Cantor, and I feel so lucky and privileged to be a part of this. Today is not the greatest day for me yet. I haven't done my happy body, but I know it's going to get better. But I really appreciate and thank you for putting this on. You are doing goodness. You are goodness.
Okay.
And thank you for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I don't know how to talk.
I'll say hello. I'm Lee from Leamington Spa in middle of England, and it's very near where Shakespeare was born, Stratford.
Wow.
And I discovered Happy Body through. Sorry, go ahead.
Have you been to his house or?
Yeah, you can go. It's a sort of a little touristy thing you can do, walk around.
But have you been there?
Yeah. It's very
Right.
close. It's
Wow.
only about 20 minutes away.
Well, what a privilege, right? To just walk
Absolutely, yeah.
your house.
And being near the theatre, you can go to see the plays, and they're often, they're always putting on something new and odd adaptations of Shakespeare plays.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I discovered Happy Body through the Tim Ferriss show, and I think I've always been attracted to his stoicism, and that's something that when you started talking, Jerzy, I was just completely inspired by the fact that you can have such a great approach to the physical as well as the mental and the poetic and the artistic, and it was a very holistic approach to self-mastery. So I was drawn to that, and I started with the book, and I typical of me, I tried to get to the to rush ahead and get to the exercises, and I started doing them for many months, and then I found myself improving but also getting some pains, and then I had to stop for a while, and then I found one of your mentors, Margaret, who's here, was very good. Hi, Margaret, and she helped me to improve my technique, and then I had a sudden boost in my career, and I was so busy that I just, my choices were easy, I suppose, to just go with the flow instead of keeping up the discipline of looking after myself. And then this virus, as much as I wouldn't wish it on everybody, it's provided a fantastic opportunity to go inwards a bit. And when your course came up, it was just a gift, and I've enjoyed every beat so far. And I'm just trying to get into to not be in such a rush. If I'm getting something from this, it's to slow it down and get the micro progression and be curious about those small results, rather than always, my mindset is very much let's try to go fast. So and I'm learning a lot from others on here as well who've been doing it for a long time and making discoveries too. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Sandy from, I'm up in Oregon. I worked with Jersey many, many years ago in the Happy Body program. I may have been almost one of the early ones. Moved out of that. I've been struggling. I'm so grateful. So many of you have haphazard stories like mine. I was feeling, I'm going to be the only one coming in who just couldn't hold it together. Autoimmunity, chronic pain. I would come back, I would do the program, some other glitch would come along, it seemed like I couldn't surmount it, I would drop out of doing the program. It was that kind of thing for a long time. But always go back to it, because it always was the one point where this is a grounded practice. This is a way to center myself and to be in touch with myself and focus sort of my life. But what it became over the years, and what's fascinating to me about what you're doing now in Jersey, is it's very, I was always returning to it as this rigid program. That must have been what I took away. All right, I need to do this, I need to do it a certain way, I need to do these exercises. And I'm not saying you don't have to do them, but for me it was this, I got tighter and tighter, and I got to conform to this thing, and I'm going to do it just this way. And I never brought the kind of energy back into it that would let me grow into it and improve in it. So when I got the email for these seminars, I said, I'll go back. Maybe I just need some fresh coaching. And it's so different now, and it so resonates with, I've been doing the program, I've been doing it for a while anyhow, but I've been doing it much more relaxed since you started, a month ago or so. I'm just so grateful to be back to it, and it feels like it has new life in it. At least it does for me, and thank you for that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sam. Well, we all evolve, like Amy said, right? I did too. In the last 15 years, I completely, changed the way of coaching because of when the book came out. It was when the book came out, and I thought, well, people have a plan, and then they will do the plan, and it's an awesome thing. Just do it, right? Okay, and they and people started buying the book, and then they were enabled, right, to actually follow it, to create that, to manifest that to themselves. And then I was getting clients here that they had book and then they couldn't manifest it either, right? So that's why exploration and began with the mind and with the philosophy, with the poetry, with the whole mind support, and creating this whole person inside, and to create this this power within through all different books and processes and dialogues. I wrote dialogues and I wrote poems and I talk, and I always found that there are there are words that they really work with certain people and in certain time. So it's magic happens when you have certain words in the right time to the right person said. And that tipped me on, right? I started really developing that part of me that would help people. And I started really looking for stories to support, because I knew that the words "just do it" don't work at all, right? The proverbs don't work unless you bring big story behind. So I started really searching for stories and started, saying stories, and then I started seeing how the fatalist and the master juxtaposed, and how the voices are strong in people. And sometimes the voices of fatalists is so powerful, so strong that that doesn't allow the person to do anything. It's just like the person is almost paralyzed, cannot do anything, cannot go for a walk, right, outside. Okay, it's just stuck in the mind, and the possession of the mind by the fatalist is powerful. So when I started watching this and observing it, started really writing about fatalists and the master and the dialogues, and started using them during the sessions, and it worked. Started working. The stories work. Started writing poems. I saw that suffering in people is real, and that suffering is strong, and because of that, I started writing poems. I couldn't write these poems 5-10 years before, but those poems were in me, but I thought about myself as a poet, so I didn't want to write poems about weight loss or exercise or something. It felt stupid and ridiculous. I will never do that, right? But when I saw the suffering in people, then I started addressing it and finding poems, and because of it, then I felt that this is really good poetry, because the suffering is there, so people deserve the poems, and I linked my ego poet to my client's suffering, and was able to write poetry that never has been written, right? The book really, we need to really get into the book. I will get into this poetry, this book of poems. It's really tough poetry too, and I will be reading from this book during these sessions. But I have to say that working during this time for 15 years really helped me to evolve, and my clients that brought the challenges and challenged me to change in order to help them, and I had to change, and I changed in so many ways, and and explored every way. And I was lucky, I guess, because I had so many mentors before, that I was able to have this plasticity of my mind to adapt and do the hard choices, and to go for it, even though it was really hard. The poetry was one of the hardest journey in my life, but it was, but also the most beautiful, the most rewarding journey. It's a fantastic journey that I went through. It's really hard. It's so hard, but at the same time, so beautiful, so liberating, and so much developing in a person this true heart feelings that they are there, and how to deal with those. It's not psychology. It's really poetry. It's like, even though we write about things that are really hard on us, but these are poems. These are not really, these are the, what we go through, what is really metaphor here, what is the feeling. I remember the poem of Mary Howe, and she wrote about her sister. That poem broke my heart, and it's just like, and also, the poem develops in you such a really beautiful feeling, and at the same time in this adversity that is so deep, that and so hard to take, but if you go through it, somehow you develop compassion to to really people or things in life that happen, and it just happens to you. You somehow become a better person. So Mary Howe, she apologizes in the poem to her sister, and they were both sexually abused by alcoholic father, and then she writes in a poem how she saw him drunkard and wobbled in the through the hallway, and was going to her room, and she would close the door, and he would turn and went to her sister, and she heard the bed when it was the noise of the bed when he lay down, and how she sighed where she was turning, and it's just like, right? And that's poetry.
What was the name of the poem?
It's Mary Howe poems, Apology to My Sister. I don't remember the title of the poem. Great poet, Mary Howe, Howe. I will read this poem maybe one day for you guys. But, well, we went into poetry, and that's what happens, okay?
What's the name of your poetry book?
It is Food for Your Soul.
Food for Your Soul.
Yeah,
Okay.
Happy Body, Food for Your Soul, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Jersey, I have a copy of a Mary Howe collection here.
Yeah.
Of Ordinary Time. I don't know if that poem is in this, I wonder, is it?
I don't think so.
No.
Let me see if I have it here somewhere.
Hey, Jersey, while you're looking for that, can you tell us the name of the book you wrote that has the fatalist and master in discussion? What's the title called?
Oh, Mastering Food. So we have 3 dialogues. I'm really using
Is it this one, Jersey? This
yes.
one?
Yeah.
That's the one?
So another one is this one. So there are 3 books of dialogues, right? And one is about the exercise, one is about food, and one is about the rest. So we'll be covering all those 3. As we go, we have luxury of time, and we can do it slow. And this is important, because if we go fast, then we brush through and we'll never feel, right? And if we don't feel, then we cannot change. That's where the art is coming, through to you from me. I know that, a philosopher works, right? But if the artist is not attached to it, the philosopher happens too fast, and we are not able to feel the proverb, feel the words. That's why a lot of philosophers were poets, and like it was really overlapping, and it could be that philosophy was born because of poetry, came out from that. But it has to be a slow process, so we could all evolve. If I make it faster, if I make it a kind of a class, we will not grow. we will get stuck on just do it, and we'll be repeating just do it and other, proverbs and sayings. Okay, well, you made me almost cry, so Mary Howe, beautiful, really beautiful poetry. Very tough and beautiful. Hard choice, definitely. Can you imagine how hard it was for her to write that poem? Yeah. But my favorite poem is Michiko Nagomi. This is the poem about Jack Gilbert's poem. Let me see if I find that poem. All right. No luck. Ask me tomorrow.
Josie, how do you spell Mary Howe?
Mary Howe.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Didn't find Jack Gilbert, but I found Mary Howe.
And what was the name from your favorite poet?
Poem.
Or your favorite poem?
I don't have poets. Michiko Nagomi. Right. All right. Let me see if I can find it on the net. I will read it to you. Beautiful poem. Short poem. It's a love poem. It's amazing. I cannot find it. Huh? Maybe somebody will start talking and I will be looking. If somebody else is there to introduce yourself, and I will keep looking for the poem, guys.
everyone. I'm Therese. I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I'm coming back for a second time. I've really enjoyed the journey, and Jersey, your wisdom and your sharing, and along with the rest of the group. I started here really just to address as a really stiff body. I'm new to the whole program, but I can see that there's a lot more to it, and yeah, I'm really enjoying the process. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to Jersey.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome to the poem. I guess you triggered everything good. All right. So I have to tell you first that he lost his wife, and she was 36. And this is I don't know if I can read you guys. It's just, I became so right into the poem because I read this poem thousands of times. And it's a really, it's a beautiful poem. It's a poet says in words how he loved his wife. And it's this tribute to the wife that is not he anymore. Okay, let me try to do that. Michiko Nagomi, 1946, 1982. Is she more apparent because she's not anymore forever? Is her whiteness more white because she was the color of a pale honey? A smokestack making the sky more visible. A dead woman filling the whole world. Michiko said, "The roses you gave me kept me awake with the sound of the petals falling." Chuck Gilbert. Hear it again. Michiko Nagomi, 1946, 1982. Is she more apparent because she is not anymore forever? Is her whiteness more white because she was the color of pale honey? A smokestack making the sky more visible? A dead woman filling the whole world? Michiko said, "The roses you gave me kept me awake with the sound of the petals falling." Isn't it beautiful?
That is so beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah. The roses you gave me kept me awake with the sound of the petals falling.
And that line about the smoke and the sky, making the sky more visible.
Right.
Every line is so
How
profound.
much he loved her, right?
Yeah.
And how sensitive she was. How beautiful she was, right?
And how absence can be larger than presence.
Right?
Yeah.
Chuck Gilbert. All right, guys. I did that.
Can you let us have the name? I can't capture the name.
Chuck Gilbert and Michiko Nagomi. Michiko Nagomi is her first and last name. And then there is 1946-1982. So her birth and death years.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So no, that's what poets do, right? That's poetry, right? So poetry is a really hard choice. It's to be poet. It's really hard because we really write about something very hard, and that's poetry. Poetry is not writing about something what is victory. No, it is not. It's really about something that is really hard to bear, and that then a poem comes. All right, I will not give you the Mari Howe poem, maybe one day. Okay, do we have somebody else before we have your homework? Okay.
Hi, Jersey. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Avinash Kohirkar. I'm from Irvine, California. A couple of years ago, I picked up your book after getting introduced to you for the very first time on the Tim Ferriss show. And I was very, very impressed with what transpired on that podcast. Then I read your book, and I've been personally practicing yoga for a number of years. And what I found very fascinating in your book is the integration of not only the physical science and your experience with it over the years as a weightlifter, coaching yourself and others, but also the importance of breathing, as well as the additional science of sympathetic nervous system versus parasympathetic nervous system. So I was thinking, this is a complete system which is informed by a variety of different knowledge sources. So I wanted to get into it, but at that time I had a couple of issues with my ankle sprains and things like that. So I took my time to get those addressed before I could start it. And then one thing led to another. I didn't pick it up. It was always on my shelf. But when your offer came along, thanks to this COVID-19 related quarantine for everybody, I jumped on it, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. So thank you very much for doing this. I'm here for the long haul now.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right. And we have to talk to Tim Ferriss, I guess. There's a lot of people really were inspired in the world by this podcast, and actually that he found his way to my cave here in Woodside and was able to, come here and be graceful through these coaching sessions. And like he said, I sat on the stove after and I wrote, right?
Yep.
It was he's a very detail-oriented person that evolves constantly. So it was the hard choice is definitely Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is a really hard choice, and he's looking for the hard choice. It's not really that is provided to him, but he's looking for that hard choice. It's searching for it. He knows that his growth depends on the hard choice. It's just that sometimes it is really difficult for us when we have hard choices, because if we don't know the skills and structure of microprogression, that we can progress too fast. So he was watching constantly my work with him on a weekly basis, and he was writing down. And I think that the microprogression idea came from him. That's what I do. That's what he noticed, how I was coaching him, how I was slowing down everything. I was able to help him with overcoming pains and flexibility limitations, and create this a possibility for him to do full snatches with, hips and shoulders and spine and everything else working together. So that was it was really something to watch him to actually react to what I was doing, because whenever I said something, right, so good or something, he took a notebook and wrote it, right? So many people do that, right? So on sessions that I have, it's a normal thing that people will pick up a notebook and write, but he was, like that in every session. So it's definitely, Tim Ferriss is a hard choice. And it's,
Jersey.
it happened that he found his way here because he helped a lot of people to come to the Happy Body.
And the good
Jersey,
thing is he
can
also shares with
Oh.
everybody, like you're doing, Jersey, sharing with everybody. Really appreciate that.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to follow that up and say, hi, it's Alistair in the UK.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, actually, I'm really excited because I got my Happy Body book today, second edition, excellent, through the post. Originally.
Did you get the second edition?
Yeah, I got a second edition on Amazon, the yellow one.
And inside is already different. The edition is second inside, the content inside the book.
Well, it says second edition on the front. I don't know what the inside is like because I don't have the first edition. I don't know how it compares.
I have a problem with Amazon to pass the requirements with the content. So, but I ordered also the book. It came with the new content, but they are. I'm dealing with them to pass because sometimes bleeding is not there or something is not there. So it's a constant adjustment of the book. But definitely the content that we uploaded is there. So my question is, do you have the book?
Yes, I do in front of me.
So let me find the book and I will ask you a question.
Spot check.
So when you open the book, is there a picture of me, like the Scandal Squad?
Well, show me the page and I'll see
When
if
you
it's.
open the cover and the first
Yeah.
page when it comes in, is a picture of me like with the squat position?
No, the first page is you bending upwards like a snake.
Okay, so it's probably the old veteran inside then. So yes, yeah. So the cover is new, the inside is old.
So what version do I need to buy then?
That's the back.
Are there a lot of changes in the second edition?
Not much, really. So you're okay with the old version too. So it's not.
Thank you.
It's
I
not,
appreciate getting a soft copy though, because it's nicer to carry that around.
yeah, it's still big. People ask about that would be a little bit smaller, but it doesn't look like smaller is going to happen. Well, it's like when you are an artist, you create the art and you don't have any thoughts about that you want to market it and how people like it or don't like it. Hey, we created a Happy Body with our way of loving something and then not caring about whether people like it or it will be sold or not sold. And people, that's not an artist. Artist is creating an art and piece of art. So when we like the colors, we put the colors. We created that book that way. So it's always very sensitive, and we were sensitive about every every word inside that book, every word, every sentence went through editing and our sensitivity to language. So it was not somebody's language; it was really ours.
That makes sense. I just wanted to say, you know, I got the book, which is great, and I also just wanted to say that the first time, as a couple of people have said, that I came across you was again on the first podcast that you did with Tim Ferriss, but most recently he was actually talking to Esther Perel about thriving and surviving in lockdown with COVID-19. And he was basically saying that, you know, for him every day, one of the things that really helped was the happy body. So it just felt like just exactly the right time to come and to find out more. So I mean, other people have said that it's been such a great thing and it's been a really great experience. And you were also talking about a movement. And I had actually thought if you'd spoken to Tim, then you know, next time you do a program like this, you'd have 1,000 or 10,000 people on the course because he's got a huge audience.
Well, yeah, it's like step by step, right?
Well, yeah, maybe you're not ready for 10,000 people yet.
Right. Yeah, 1,000 people. Hey, 200,000 people. That's a different story. I'm really happy where I am. You know, like I remember Tim was talking with Naval when they were here. It's like how we can take, you know, Jerzy out of the cave, and Naval said, I don't know if it's going to happen. He likes his cave. And, you know, I like the cave. For me, it's not a cave. It's a kind of I'm always in the cave. So the idea into the cave is the idea of people or athletes when they actually want to practice really hard, they go into the cave. You know, it's a metaphor. But I'm always in a cave, and in this place where I am, people comment that I work with them. It's kind of for outside, it looks like a cave. So, but I came out of the cave, I think, when I introduced this on donation program. You know, the first approach was this $25, and kind of like weird for me. Was weird. I didn't feel it. But when I really did this donation only, that's me. And feels right, feels good, and I like talking every day. So everything is where I'm out of the cave with you guys. So I think it's happening right now that I am out of the cave. Even though I am in my cave, I'm out of the cave.
Baby steps.
You're coming out of the cave a little bit and also inviting people into the cave with you. So, you know,
Right.
hey, that works, right? It works.
Yeah, very interesting though. But it's happening. So it's good. It's good for me, and it's good for people.
And I think you're out of the cave on your own terms.
Right. I found a way.
Right. Not forced out.
Tim and Naval was thinking about how to do it, but you know, they couldn't really see it that it could happen, and I was not comfortable with anything that was extreme and fast, and you know, I never liked this progress that it puts me in the position of losing my present moment.
Yes, of being a product more so than a process.
Yeah, and then you know how to develop the flow, that present moment that you like to be, and not to lose it, not to get overwhelmed by the world outside that has any meaning, right?
And it has its own agenda. That would have its own agenda.
Too, right? So you can easily lose that yourself, because the world is powerful and it's strong, and it can take you over, right? If it does, then you're lost. And so I'm adapting as I go. So I like baby steps. Said somebody, this movie Baby Steps. No, don't know the movie. That's a really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Baby Step. It's a comedy, and it's a really fantastic movie. Watch it. It's really entertaining, but it's really funny.
I suppose you've got to. I suppose you've got to think about how hard you want your hard choices to be.
Right. Well, it's a hard choice is it's something that is it's attached to the evolving, right? And you evolve as you make hard choices. And if you don't make those hard choices, you cannot evolve. You are stuck in entertainment, and sometimes forever for your life. That's why I wrote the email. If you want entertainment, don't come here. Just forget about it. It's not going to happen here. Sometimes your heart will be ripped apart here, and that's what poetry does. And to go there is also important to even go into these small baby steps, touch them, step, one by one, and it takes time. It's just takes a lot of time. So they are not just baby steps like in the movie that you prepare for the championship in 6 weeks, and suddenly you are boxing with somebody, and then you're ready, right? And that's in real life. It doesn't happen that way. So you have to have 5-10 years of boxing, behind, to make it happen, right? So, but in a movie, it's always too fast, and it's done that way. So here we cannot do that. We have to create a slow process and micro progression systems, and so our mind adapts to the journey and accepts the hard choices, makes the hard choices, and then we go to the next level and then slowly we build that our whole we, whatever is needed to just do it, right? To go to the gym or stop yourself from overeating, right? So it's always the just do it is just what happens at the end, but the journey can be a long journey before we develop the strength. So that's why I decided to do these hard choices in life and every other week. So you have the chance to really be coached that way. That gives you a chance actually to change, to adapt and to grow, to evolve. You cannot really do that if it's too fast. It can never happen. So that's why all the systems and programs that they push the speed, and they are just really, everything is fast and extreme, just cannot really sustain. It cannot go on. So, yes?
So I made chocolate bars, and I went into my pantry and I went, oh, great, I've got dark chocolate chips. So I made it with chocolate chips. And now I realize I used sugared chocolate. So I want to order a chocolate bar on Amazon. So what would you call it?
Oh, chocolate. It has to be dark chocolate.
Without sugar? This was dark chocolate, but it had sugar in it.
Yeah, without sugar. So you have to just find that pure dark chocolate. And about at least about 75-80%, right? So of course no No sugar. I'm looking for this poem so we can, yeah, I can read you the poem about this speed and the process. So here's the poem about a person, my client, that is exposed to that speed, and actually it's a story. It's a true story about what happened here, but it's embraced in a poem, and the poem gives you the feeling and also the sadness that happens because of it, and it also gives the opening at the end to to that flow, and then finding the right timing. So the title is Where Mountains Begin to Rise. Mary came back from Hawaii, where she attended an inspirational retreat. For 3 days, she listened and finally learned how to move mountains. When I saw her, she said, "I don't understand how I could have been so weak and unable to follow that simple diet. I must have been depressed, or something else clouded my mind." Mary was high, as if she was on drugs. She spoke by herself the whole hour, moving on the couch constantly and making her eyes bigger whenever she said how the past was impossible and far away. She left with her chest high and proud, watching, I thought, just 3 days in Hawaii. There is nothing she can't achieve. 1 week later, when I opened the door, Mary stood on the porch with her chest collapsed as she stared at the floor while saying hello. She walked over and slouched on the couch. We didn't talk for 5 minutes. Then she lifted her head and looked straight into my eyes. I was perfect for 3 days before I began eating. Today, I'm 6 pounds heavier, but a week ago, I thought I would be 6 pounds lighter. I was so inspired, but now I'm even scared to think of what's coming next. "Welcome back. Welcome back," she said. "Yes, welcome back to the place where mountains begin to rise." Right? So you can waste yourself in life on going to Hawaii for 3 days and being pumped and told how powerful you are and how you can reach the sky and so on. And it's just simply entertainment and waste. And then what you need to do is really hard. And then you are not ready for that. And you have this fake, feelings that you can actually just do it. Just do it. So a lot of programs up there exploring that just do it idea, with enhancing with beautiful words and excitement, anxiety throughout the 3 days, and you pay $3,000 for that, and then you go home. And when you go home, you don't have powers, because once you start really facing what you need to do, just doing doesn't work. You simply need 2 years before you do just doing, and not 3 days. Brief psychology doesn't work. I remember I had this psychologist. She worked with suicidal cases, and she said the psychology now, it's called brief psychology, and it's thriving up there, and people are buying this. And then she said, wow, you know, it's just amazing that people actually can even, you know, do this thing, and knowing that it simply cannot work, right? But it is. So becoming the master in life is to really know what you're capable of, what is your plan, and be able to pick up the hard choices and do the plan and keep working with the plan. So here's the, let's get into our plan and your homework. And let me see your homework. I wrote it somewhere. So we'll start exploring the virtues, the virtue number, the first virtue there. And the virtue is no choice, no freedom. And then in the book, you will start writing. So there is a explanation on the other side. Every wisdom goes through 1 week of writing. So every day you respond from a different perspective. But the definition of it from our side is, if you feel that you are already defined by your habits, culture, education, family, your identity is the invisible chain that binds you. So now, no choice, no freedom. Then you write, I understand. And you finish the sentence. That's your homework. And you think about no choice, no freedom. What do you understand about that? Okay, that's number one. Number two, you write the first chapter from this. I got this. And it's about the call. So that's the word that goes through this. This is the book that has stories and has lectures and has poems, divided into 12 weeks experience. I usually tell people to read this like it's the bedside book to read. Very accessible and pleasant and nice, and also will deliver knowledge to you. And then I wrote this essays, and Aniela as well, and there are some poems. So I have everyone has different feeling, but every chapter goes through a different word that we begin talking and taking people on a journey. And the first one is the call, and second is awakening, third is vision, then is pursuit, ascent, knowing, renewal, responsibility, mastery, maturity, commitment, fulfillment. So there is a 12 weeks journey here that it really needs to be 12 weeks in order to really embrace.
What's the name of that book?
The book is I Got This.
I Got This. Okay. I don't have that.
Okay. Well, you see now what we were doing for 15 years, right? So we were dealing with this challenge, right? About, how to help you guys, how to build that just do it idea. All right, so then I want you to write something. So the Happy Body presents the challenges, and there is a plan, as you know, you have a plan, and you engage the plan. And when you engage the plan creates challenges and difficulties to actually follow the plan. And I want you to write about those challenges that you have. with the Happy Body. That it's a 3-hour challenge, or it's a food challenge, or it's an exercise challenge. What are really the challenges? And we'll talk about this tomorrow. All right. Awesome. Fantastic day today. Anybody wants to close? Say something?
Jersey, just a quick question. Is there a particular book that we need for this week? Because I didn't see an email saying that we needed to pick up any particular text.
Well, you have the virtues here, right?
No.
You don't need, you don't need the book, because I told you you can buy the book, but you can easily the virtue that is there that we will be going through the week is no choice, no freedom. We'll be deepening that every day until the end. So we'll work only with one virtue for the whole week. But the first sentence that we want to engage is, I understand. And then, what do you understand when you think about no choice, no freedom?
Okay, got it. So we don't need an additional text.
The book that you need to get is this one. So this is a good book to get. You can get it on Kindle. You can buy it on in paper. So that you need to get to read it. But if you don't, you don't. So that's fine. Everything is good. So don't stress yourself.
Okay. But maybe not quite as bad as Tim Ferriss's writing lots of notes, but a keen student anyway.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you for today. It was a beautiful introduction the first day. I really like it.
Great to see you again, Jersey. Love you. Bye.
Thanks, Jersey.
Thank you, Jersey.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing that poem that really hit home. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.